Well. It's Saturday, October 4th. It's noon Eastern time. I'm Bob Harris. It's time for the Week 5 Ask Me Anything live stream. Before we get to the questions, footballguys.com. That's the website. I appreciate you joining me here every Saturday at this time. Many of you before this time, it turns out. We're going to talk about that. Right here on the Football Guys live YouTube channel. I hope you subscribe to this channel so you get notifications about this and don't miss an episode. Also, other great content available on this channel throughout the week, including our pregame show on Sunday. So hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, hit the like button. I see you're already commenting. Comment more. Appreciate that. If you don't know what's going on here, I am Bob Harris from footballguys.com. You can find all my work there. My rankings are up and published and up to date. I'll be adjusting my rankings while we're having this conversation, because you'll ask questions that I hadn't thought of that will spur me onto greater heights. And we'll have a great time, and you'll find my current column today. My in and out column is up. It's not for the faint of heart, people. It's edgy choices. I'm trying to leverage the projections at Football Guys. Also, the people that do the projections of Football Guys, Jason Woods, Moral Tremblay, Sigmund Bloom, are very good at doing projections. So it's no mean feat, and I often look stupid, but that's part of the fun. My fantasy notebook comes out every Thursday. That's available too. I just retweeted it. If you're on the X device, you can check that out as well. All kinds of stuff going around. And also my face-off, my weekly collaboration with Gary Davenport goes up on Friday. So check all that out. All kinds of other stuff going on. My Saturday injury update. I'm going to run you through that as well here, because we like to do the injuries before we get to the questions. I see the questions are very important to you. And we'll figure this out going forward. You can catch me tonight on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 8 to 11. If I don't get your questions, you can call us there. You can also get me every weeknight from 8 to 10 on the Fantasy Sports channels. Tonight's on the NFL and the Fantasy Sports channel. It's like a simulcast thing. It's technology, people. It's fantastic. And also on Sunday with Jeff Mans on the pregame show, 11 to 1. So check that out as well. And let's run through the injuries real quick to set the table before I get to the questions. And hi, everybody. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Dame. Hi, Scampers. You do got to get them in early. Hello there. Hello. Happy to see everyone. Appreciate everyone coming. I feel like I got to rush because I got like an hour's worth of questions before I even talk for an hour. Let's think about that, people. I'd like to have conversations, so I'm going to race through those questions super fast and not give good answers to any of them probably. So we'll get there, though. And also, everyone in the chat, if you're in there and you think your question's not being answered fast enough, the people in the chat will answer, and you can pay them the same mind you pay me. They're a pretty smart group in here. Pretty impressive fantasy football minds, so we'll sort through everything as we go along. Let's do the injury thing first, though, real quick here. To get it out of the way, the early game, Minnesota at Cleveland it is, in London. It's neither place. No J.J. McCarthy again. Carson Wentz will start. It's a tough matchup. Feeling bad for and by the way, the Vikings are down 3 starting offensive linemen and one of their top reserves, so it's not going to be good. The Browns are all good. The early afternoon window, Las Vegas, Brock Bowers. They're in Indianapolis. Brock Bowers is questionable. Pete Carroll says he's going to play. Brock Bowers says he wish he could play good. Said he's having trouble getting separation, and he's looking forward to that. He's playing with a big brace on the knee. Michael Mayer is in the concussion protocol. Status still uncertain. Indianapolis, no Tyler Goodson or Alec Pierce, who tried to work his way out of the concussion protocol and could not. Maybe Adonai Mitchell gets another chance to redeem himself, or another chance to not. Juwan Johnson for the New York Giants and New Orleans Saints. Tyrone Tracy doubtful. It'll be the Cam Scadaboo show. Jackson Dart continues as a starter. No Malik Neighbors, of course, out for the season. On the other side of the ball, Juwan Johnson has an ankle injury. He worked on a limited basis the last 2 days. Seems likely to play. He could be joined by Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau, though. Both of those we'll find out later today if they're activated off IR, but they're getting close. Dallas and New York, no CeeDee Lamb. We knew that. Jonathan Mingo getting close to coming off IR. Miles Sanders has knee and ankle issues. He's questionable, but the outlook is not good for him. Sounds like Jaden Blue will be active for the first time this season. Wouldn't we all like to see that? On the Jets side of the ball, Braylon Allen out 8 to 12 weeks, according to Aaron Glenn, the head coach there. Kanane Nwangwu still dealing with a hamstring injury. Not sure if he'll go. Denver is at Philadelphia. That's going to be a tough game. Everyone's healthy, though. That'll help. Miami, Carolina. Dolphins are all good to go. Carolina. No Chuba Hubbard. Rico Dowdle steps into the starting role. Maybe Trevor Etienne getting a little work. Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, remains out. Tommy Tremble will pick up the pace. And they have some other guys there that are doing okay. Houston at Baltimore. Baltimore's defense, injury ravaged, giving up 133 points, the most in the league so far this year. Lamar Jackson will not play in this game. That's not going to help. Houston side of the ball, everyone's good to go. Late afternoon window, Tennessee, Calvin Ridley showed up as questionable on the injury report. Seems like he'll go. Looked okay in the Friday practice. Tyjae Spears will need to be activated to play today. We'll see if he gets in there and gets that done. Arizona, Greg Dortch has a collarbone. He's questionable. Seems likely to go. Trey Benson's not playing. I see a lot of questions already about that backfield, and we'll get to that. Amari DeMarcado, Michael Carter, Bam Knight, lots of opportunities there. Tampa Bay at Seattle. Tampa Bay without Mike Evans, also without Bucky Irving. White moves up in the rotation. Sean Tucker becomes a thing, possibly. Detroit at Cincinnati, Sonny Vakai, nobody cares. Charlie Jones, nobody cares. Washington at Los Angeles, this is not good. Noah Brown and Terry McLaurin remain out. Jaden Daniels returns. Deebo Samuel will play despite a sore heel that kept him out of practice a couple days. Maybe we get a little Bill Krosky merit. I saw questions about him as well. For the Chargers, Will Dissly, still questionable. But Rondé Gadsden's coming on, the new thing. I kind of like that. Darius Davis also out. Sunday Night Football, all good for the Bills and Patriots. And Monday Night Football, don't have the injury report yet, so we'll get to that here soon enough. All right, let's see what's going on. How's the sound, people? I'm just sitting here spewing out. If the sound's not good, let me know, and we'll see if I can fix it in the... Hello, Dominic. Happy to see you. Let's see. I see no complaints that my sound is horrible, so I'm going to assume my sound is okay. That's fantastic. And let's dive into the questions because that's what you're here for, it seems. William Taylor has Bijan. Would I drop Chase Brown to pick up Tyler Algier? I don't know that I would. I still view Chase Brown as a playable asset. I know it's not good right now. I still think this offense will normalize to a degree. Zach Taylor expressed great confidence in Jake Browning. You can believe him or not, but last year he was serviceable, or 2023, he was serviceable. For our purposes, he was quarterback 9. He was good enough to be a top 10 quarterback in the games he played in 2023. He hasn't been that right now, and maybe he's not that at some point, but their schedule gets a lot easier. They've had some tough run early in the season. I don't want to drop Chase Brown to pick up a guy that's not going to be in my starting lineup every week. I would rather drop somebody that's not going to be in my starting lineup every week. So he is worth hanging on to me. You do have some guys like Harvey could rise up a little bit at some point, although I'm still a J.K. Dobbins guy, and Sharp is always going to have like a week-to-week value, and Tyler Algier will have week-to-week value. It'd be like having another Zach Charbonnet. Can you like start him with confidence any week when the starter isn't hurt? And I get it. If you're a big handcuff, for sure. I'm not doing that, though. Hanging on to Chase Brown. Like running backs who get like 80+% of the touches in their backfield are rare. Start one, Charbonnet, Carter, or Tucker. I'm going to go ahead and start Carter over Tucker over Charbonnet. Let's see what the projections think of Charbonnet. Let's make sure I'm not totally dissing him. And so we'll talk about Carter a little bit because I'm sure there are 1,000 questions down here about him. Yeah, I'm going to the projections like Charbonnet better than Tucker. I think the thing we like about Tucker, it's harder to run against Seattle than it is the passing backs seem to have more luck against them. But I mean, we all want to play that Sean Tucker 130+ yard 2-touchdown game against New Orleans in Week 6 last year. I mean, that's what we're waiting for. Carter down the stretch, and we don't know, right? Like on Carter, we're not 100% sure. Right? The likelihood is Amari DeMarcado keeps the passing role that he's had. He seems to excel in that. And we saw last year, although DeMarcado was out the last 2 games this season, Carter handled a featured role, right? They had no Benson, they had no Connor, they had no DeMarcado, so it was out of necessity. Thinking he'll get the early down work. He said something about that. I want to say on Thursday or after Wednesday's practice. He said, wow, going from the practice squad to the starting lineup. Now, maybe he was just talking about, to playing. But either way, right? He took the first snaps in that first Wednesday practice. So we'll see. But anyway, that's my order. Carter, Tucker, Charbonnet. But the projections, and it's really close. They're ranked consecutively. So, all right. Good morning, Jeff Bolt, with your small dog. I am in a pickle at 0-4. Yeah, lost last week by 0.08, 1 NFL yard. General question: do you avoid playing defenses against a star player? I do not avoid that. Chase is not a star right at the moment, but he has that potential. You drafted him to be one. Again, I don't know that this is a great matchup for him. I don't know that this is the week he breaks out. I think over the course of the season, he'll be better more than he's worse, but this may not be the week. Or do I go a different defense? No, I'm probably playing the players I like to play. I'm not going to worry about the defense against an offensive player. When I'm playing a defense, all I'm looking for is opportunities to make big plays, right? And that's going to limit your offensive players. If my defense is out there creating turnovers and havoc and scoring and doing things, well, if they're scoring, it's okay because they're going to kick off and my guys are going to get the ball back again. So, but that's the only limiting factor. I think if you have a good defense, are you concerned that it's going to be a limiting factor for the offense? Is the offense going to have a hard time staying in schedule? It might be the case for the Bengals this week. But I don't. And by the way, yes, I would bench Chase for Worthy, McMillan, or Pickens, and not Brian Thomas Jr. Jeff Holt. We'll talk to her about that. Dowdle versus Miami and Rashai. No, it's not crazy. I mean, I like Kamara against the Giants as well, though. They're all in that running back 2 range right now. So pick your poison. And I will say this, like I always say this. If I'm sitting here, I'm telling you someone is like running back 15, 17, and 19. This just in. I don't know that I have the capability of projecting with that level of precision. I mean, our projectors do a great job, but also like look at the tier. And if you like a player within a tier and they're similarly ranked, like you don't have to go serially. You don't have to go in a linear fashion, right? You can look at the tier. That's the wiser way to do it. And if you feel a little better about that Miami matchup, or wow, Rachaad White, that's a really opportune thing. The Seahawks are giving up tons of passes to the running backs, and that's Rachaad White's thing. Also, I'm old enough to remember when Rachaad White was the running back 4 in all fantasy, because it's like 2 years ago. He had 272 touches, I want to say, tons of pass receiving equity. And then he lost the job last year, the starting job, to Bucky Irving, because he doesn't hit the hole hard enough, but he does catch the football well. So there's that. Hi, Jim. Question for week 6. Do I pick up Jags D at home versus Seattle Raiders, D at home versus Tennessee, or pass defense at New Orleans? Future defensive question. I mean, the Jags defense has been good. They're not good against the deep balls as much. I'd probably take anyone against Tennessee at this point. Off the rip. How are you treating my plethora of ugly running backs? Well, first of all, I'm giving way more respect to Xavier Scott, right? I like the Carter DeMarcado duo versus Tennessee. Do I think Kendre Miller is going to get the same run he got last week every week? I mean, it's possible. I'd like to see it more before I play it. Scott is obviously, converted wide receiver, going to get some receiving opportunities. Mason isn't. It's a super tough matchup. Justice Hill. Bill, by the way, maybe this is the week. Maybe this is the week they finally show us what we've been hearing about since since OTAs, but really cranked up in late July and August. The hype train started rolling. We haven't seen him get the workload. I think last week everyone got an equal number of snaps. Maybe this is the week. Dan Graziano at ESPN reported this week that they think he's the guy. Like the Commanders think he's the guy. They haven't treated him like that yet, but they think he's going to be that. I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit before I'm playing it. But in a game where Jaden Daniels is down 2 top weapons, and he can't maybe run as effectively or protect himself as well, maybe a heavy running attack would be good. So I'd probably be going the Arizona duo, Bill, and like Justice Hill had a big week last week. Here's got to be the plan for the Ravens, right? Plan for the Ravens is, how do we keep our defense off the field? Well, Derrick Henry would be great at that. And I know it hasn't been good outcomes for Derrick Henry, but he's still averaging 5.8 yards a carry. It's just last week he only got 8 of them. And by the way, Keaton Mitchell is going to be active this week. At least Brian Wacker from Baltimore Sun's reporting that. So that would be another limiting factor for him. Justice Hill is a guy I could play any week, but I don't feel like I want to force him into lineups because the outcomes vary enough. So I like the Arizona duo, Bill, Justice Hill, Miller, and Scott. John Fusek. Yes, it is. That's why we do this. I lost my week in the FFPC main event, 177 to 177.15, dropping you to 4-1. Well, 3-1 is better than not 3-1. Lost on a Garrett worthless catch a few seconds. That is brutal. I've had some bad beatings. I've had some way worse beatings too, though, this year. Let's see. Hello, PB. Need one. Chase Brown, Nick Chubb, Michael Carter in the flex to choose from one of these, Hollywood or Trey Tucker. I'd probably play Chase Brown in the flex there. It'd be Michael Carter second, Tucker, Hollywood, and Chubb. I think the Chubb train is. I think Woody Marks train left the station and Chubb's going to get left behind. I don't know that it's like, I don't think Nick Chubb goes away, but I'd like to see how that plays out. It's a great matchup though. Whoever, maybe everybody can get some in this one. So we'll see. John Fusek defense, Detroit defense versus Cincinnati. I mean, like if I've been playing Detroit, I'd stick with Detroit. I'm fine playing Arizona. I'd probably stick with Detroit. Hello, MJY147, longtime fan. I'm a fan of you now as well. In a non-redraft PPR not redraft league, non-PPR redraft league. I should read that correctly. It's very helpful. Which two bench stash wide receivers will have the best value this season? This seems unfair because I've been such a Kayshon Boutte guy over the course of time. Boutte, Cooper Kupp, Isaiah Bond, Malik Washington, or Torrey Horton. I mean, Torrey Horton's already, I'd probably rather have him than Cooper Kupp at this point. Not that, Kupp isn't without value. Bond, I'd like, and I like the path to workload with Cedric Tillman out, but I don't know what he's got in his quarterback. Malik Washington seems to have the clearest path to an immediate workload. I've seen him do his run after the catch thing. It's probably him, Horton, Boutte, Kupp, Bond. Also with Kyle Pitts on bye, which tight end on PPR? Mason Taylor on PR. Mason Taylor, Brenton Strange, Theo Johnson. I'd go Mason Taylor there. Well, Brenton Strange is in the top 10 there, but you say stack with Fields. I could see doing that. Brenton Strange is probably the right answer, but I wouldn't talk you out of Mason Taylor. Brenton Strange is inside our top 10, though. I think he's tight end 7 this week. Taylor's right outside the run tight end 1 range, 13. I want to say 14. Pick one. Luke McCaffrey at the Chargers, Michael Carter versus Tennessee, Kirk versus Baltimore. I do like Kirk. I like everyone versus Baltimore, but I'm taking Michael Carter here. Second and last question for me. Planning on starting Baker over Bryce at half-point PPR. Baker at Seahawks and Bryce at home versus Dolphins. Do you agree? I probably agree. I mean, Bryce is down some weapons. Or Baker's down some weapons, and he's a little beat up. I think that's probably the right play. I just want to see how close it is in the projections. But yeah, projections have it 16 and 18. I also think it's pretty even. I mean, Miami's been a pretty favorable matchup, but yeah, probably Baker's a safer play. Good morning, Spocek. It's a weird combination. SBO Spot check. Oh wow. Full PPR, Dalton Cocaine or Juwan Johnson, assuming healthy. I'm going to probably go Johnson, assuming he's healthy, unless Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau are both back. But yeah, I mean, I think the projections agree with that. 8 and 9 in the rankings. It is very close. So yeah, I think that'd be the determining factor for me. I want to check and make sure that there are no other pieces. And you will know that later today. You'll know that 4 p.m. Eastern time today. Also, Bo Nix or Jackson Dart. I would probably play Jackson Dart this week given the matchups. Philadelphia's pretty tough. New Orleans less so. Morning Bob says, Toby, beautiful cats. If Juwan can't go, which waiver wire tight end to pick up Andrews without Lamar? Theo, I have Dart, Mason versus it'd be Mason for me. Hello, Tony. Grappensberger, look at me go. Krosky, Merritt, Pacheco, Mason, or Malik Washington. I'm gonna probably unhappily play the workload. Jordan Mason. I don't know when we're ever gonna get anything out of Pacheco worthwhile. Krosky Merritt's the guy to take a flyer on if you think he might get the workload. If you think the the game script the plan might be to finally break the seal on him and use him in a robust manner. Last good game he had was week 1 against the Giants. So this is a much tougher matchup. Probably Mason for the workload, but man, my expectations are so low with that offensive line. Again, down 3 starters. But and I have him ranked. I think he's going to finish outside the running back 2, but I think all these guys are going to finish outside running back 2. So maybe Malik Washington's the right answer. Let me see what kind of pro points projections they have on him at the fellas back at the shop. Yeah, I'm going to probably take a shot at Mason and not feel good about it. I'll watch this while I'll be watching the game tomorrow morning, remembering this moment. Good morning, Brad Stewart. Lamar Jackson only needs to hold his nose and pick up one of the guys off the very thin waiver wire. Understood. Geno, Tua, Bryce, or Sam Darnold? Probably Geno. I think that's the right answer. The people back at the office like Darnold a little bit, and that was my other choice. That'd probably be Darnold's been playing well. He's got great options. I'll go with the group. I'll go with the group think and not on my own. Even though I kind of like the matchup for Geno Smith. They're down a left tackle. I don't know if Brock Bowers is all the way going. I can talk myself into almost anything given enough time. We got people answering questions. Thank you, Scampers. Thanks everyone for jumping in on the questions. I know I'm running behind because a lot of questions. We might have to close those until we start up here. Half point PPR, Zay Flowers, DeMarcado, rules of flexology. I think in this case, it wouldn't be the rules of flexology because the rules of flexology for people who haven't been around for 100 years, feature back over wide receiver almost every time because I want the sure touches, right? But DeMarcado is not a feature back. I don't know that he's going to get a feature role. I don't know that Carter is going to get the bulk of the workload either. Maybe it is DeMarcado. We just don't have enough information to say so. We're putting some things together based on what we've seen in the past. And what we saw in the past was Michael Carter get significant workloads the last 2 weeks of 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Last year. And we're kind of extrapolating out that maybe they want to reserve DeMarcado for a role he excels at in the third down. That would be a limited role. So I probably play Zay Flowers over him in that case. I think Cooper Rush, has played football and he's a competent passer. He's not the runner Lamar is. Maybe that's a good change in this case. I might play Flowers. So I would play Flowers over DeMarcado. 0.5 PPR, T-Mac versus Miami, Rachaad White versus Seattle, and Woody Marks at the Ravens. The rankings would like you to play Rachaad White, Woody Marks, and then T-Mac. I can make an argument for T-Mac. I wonder what the points projection is there. I'm curious. You get me curious, and I have to go double check. This is what I'm doing. Always when we're sitting here answering questions and we're having these discussions, or when I'm on the radio having these discussions, I'm looking and testing my rankings. There's no better way to do this. It's pretty damn even. They're all right within a point of each other, right? So again, in cases like this, I would rather take the feature. This would be a case where flexology would apply. The laws of flexology would apply, right? I want to take the guy who's going to get the more certain production or the more certain opportunities. I think in this case, certainly it'll be Rachaad White, probably be Woody Marks in a great matchup, and then T-Mac, and they're all, again, within a point of each other. Rico Dowdle versus Miami or Woody Marks at Baltimore. I'm probably going to lean a little more on Rico Dowdle because he's the more sure workload, Andrea. I don't think Trevor Etienne cuts into that. We're banking on what we saw last week. And it looks like it. I'm not denying that. I think the Woody Marks train has left the station. But I think that. I don't know that. I know Rico Dowdle is going to get a frontline workload and a good matchup also. And Mark's in a better matchup, but less certainty. Iron Eddie, good to see you. Full PPR, need to bench one. I don't want to bench any of those guys. Great match. I'm probably playing the running backs here. And I like Olave a lot. Came up a little short last week. This is, yeah, I think there's like, it's funny because it is a psychological thing because in our head, the playing your star or a starter on your team against that defense, but I don't think it's a zero-sum game. Tet McMillan or Worthy? I like Worthy a little bit more in that matchup. Andrea. And it's very close. I'll see if the projections disagree with me or not. I have Worthy. If you go read the in and out column this week, I'm in on Worthy. I have a lot of numbers that I'm throwing out there. It's very close. It's 16-19 for McMillan over Worthy. I have Worthy higher in my rankings, but it's very close. They're projected within a half a point of each other. So there. Keep seeing Michael Carter out there. Is there another Michael Carter in the league? No. Oh, Michael Carter is out. Yeah, the defense is back. That is true. There are two. I just double check and verify that something hasn't happened. But I think that's all it is. NFL media demanding my pass. Oh, now it won't let me in. Now it's temporarily down. Oh, there I got it. Yeah, it's the Jets cornerback. There are two. And they were on the same team at one point together. Thank you, Mr. Scampers. Thank you, Andrea. By the way, if you just got here, I'm Bob Harris. So there. If you're wondering who the hell Bob Harris is, Bob Harris works at footballguys.com. He's been doing this a very long time, since 1993. Been with Football Guys the last couple of years. You'll find my weekly columns, the Fantasy Notebook every Thursday, the Face Off with Gary Davenport every Friday, my In and Out column today, every Saturday, my injury roundup every Saturday evening. You find me here every Saturday at noon on the Football Guys Live channel. Subscribe to this channel, like the things, and do all that stuff. Also, you can hear me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio every weeknight, 8 to 10, with Mike Dempsey every Saturday night on NFL Radio and the Fantasy Channel, 3 hours on Saturday night. Have Casey Joyner, the football scientist, on to join us in this one. And, of course, the great Jamie Calandra to talk a little DFS. So check that out, 8 to 11 on the NFL or the Fantasy Channel. Then tomorrow, Sunday, pregame show, me and Jeff Mans, 11 to 1. Hi, PB, Patty B, longtime diehard listener and Football Guys Web. Now Saturday AM, free live for you. Hey, appreciate you coming. Nice cat. Morning, A Troubled Mind. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone coming. Like, really appreciate it. And if you're like new to this and you're wondering, well, why I'm not sitting here just saying who I play, this is a nuanced conversation. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm telling everyone what I do and talking about it and why I do it. These are your teams, everybody. You're sitting here, and that's one of the things I talked about at the top. There's our tiers of players. Like when I sit here and I tell you I like Xavier Worthy better than Ted McMillan, they're both projected 14.75 points or 14.84 points. We are predicting. Can we do that with that accuracy and granularity? I don't know that we can, but that's what the job is, right? We need to come up with linear rankings to work from. You don't have to use those rankings linearly. You can use them in tiers. They're best used in tiers. So you just feel comfortable. Like, I want to play this guy. Is that crazy? No. Look at he's in the same tier as this other guy that I'm choosing between. And the projection is really close. And I just have a better feeling about this matchup than I do about the other matchup. All those things are relevant to your lineup. And also, on Monday, I'm not going to be there. You can't say, Bob, you told me to play that guy. I lost. No, you're going to look in the mirror and go, God, why did I play that guy? When I wanted to play the other guy. Bob said that guy. I wanted to play the other guy. Well, if they're close, play the guy you want to play. Wandale versus DeMarcado. It's pretty close, right? Like, we'll see how the targets play out without Malik Neighbors for the New York Football Giants. Wandale might be low. Like, maybe the Wandale we've seen this week persists, right? And Darius Slayton's going to come on. Darius Slayton's led this team in receiving 4 of the last 6 years. He's not nothing, right? He's like not a lot when Malik Neighbors and Wandale Robinson are both going, but now they'll ask him to do more. I don't know how much that's going to be yet. I don't know Like, I'm hoping they throw the ball more than they did last week, or that's the plan. But I also like Jackson Dart running the ball. So I think my thoughts are it's pretty close there. Like, I think we need more information on the Cardinals' plans in the backfield. I have suspicions. I laid them out pretty carefully. I suspect, and I just based on multiple, channels of information, that it's good that they're going to lean on Carter. But maybe we're all shocked, and it's Bam Knight, the great Zonovan Knight, who has been on the active roster all along. Might be more for special teams than offense that he was there, but he has been active every week, right? So, or at least on the regular roster, they had to promote Carter from the practice squad. But again, last year he had a really strong run to close the season. So, sit one, Bowers questionable against Indy, Ken Walker versus Tampa, Dobbins at Philadelphia, Marks at Baltimore, or Hunter Henry at Buffalo. Well, hopefully the decision's made for you and it's Brock Bowers and they make him inactive. I don't think that's going to be the case. Brock Bowers has clearly not been the Brock Bowers we know and love. Hunter Henry, and meanwhile, has scored 40 points the last couple games. So I'll just be honest with you. In my in and out column, I'm out on Hunter Henry, but only because he's projected at tight end 7, and I don't know that he's going to hit that number. I think this might be a little more of a normalization week, but could he still be in the top 10? Absolutely. Bowers hasn't been Bowers. I think that's the decision for me. You could say, I don't want to play Dobbins. I don't want to face the tough Philly defense. I do want to play Ken Walker. I do want to play Marks. I would probably wait this one out and wait till what I hear about Bowers. So my concerns with Bowers are his own words, is he's not able to get the separation he wants to get. He's not his usual self. Hunter Henry has been. The volume's been great. So take that as you will. Let's see I think I'm going to say Bowers is still super highly ranked this week. A little lower by me, but yeah, he's 3 in the projections. Henry is 7. I still think Henry could have a top 10 week. So if you just want to play it safe, maybe that's the answer. Or if you want to just play it safe at running back, say, I just want to play both those tight ends and avoid Dobbins in a tough matchup. I still like Dobbins a lot. So I have him as a running back 2 this week. Tail end running back 2. Tough calls. This is why we play the game, to have these tough decisions. I would probably play it safe, and so here's the thing when you're making these decisions. You have to be able to live with yourself if Brock Bowers comes up with a huge game. You have a lot of reasons to believe he won't have a huge game because he hasn't had one. He's hurt. He says he's having trouble getting separation. And Hunter Henry has had multiple good games. I think he has 40 points over the last 2 games, leads the team in target share. I wonder if this is going to be more of a Diggs game. But if you're deciding between those 2 things, you have to realize that the outcomes are both of them might be great, or the one you sit might be great. Brock Bowers might turn back into Brock Bowers this week and have a phenomenal week. But that doesn't seem likely based on his own words and the fact that he's questionable. I'd probably play it safe there. That's what I'm talking myself into. Jamie Angel, Pickens or Ibuka for the flex. Woo, I'll avoid the Sauce and go Ibuka. The Sauce being Sauce Gardner. I have both McBride and Moore on a tight end, which is a nice situation by running back 2 is Swift, and I want a better choice at running back. Yes, you should. Absolutely, man. Found money in Tyler Warren. What you paid for him, you are getting more than, and so you can leverage that into a better thing. That's the way to think. Jacoby Myers or Keenan Allen? Probably going Keenan Allen, but it's super close. I think they're both in the top, I want to say 15 or 16. Let me double check that. I was looking at this last night because I was getting a lot of Jacoby Myers questions. Yeah, it's they're 13 and 18. They're projected within a half point of each other. So, my lean would be Keenan Allen at this point pretty much every week, but that would be me. Until he proves otherwise, right? But he has not proved otherwise. Hello, my thought. Baltimore on a bye week 7. Tatum waivers is dry. Okay, Parker. For me, it'd be Jaden Blue. There are teams where I drafted him where I still have him. We'll find out this week, right? And I don't know if Rashard Smith, a lot of talk in Kansas City that he's just not a good enough pass protector to get on the field. Maybe that's part of the problem for Jaydon Blue. But at least we'll get a look at Jaydon Blue this week. And I think for me, the reason I've been interested in him all along is he's a different thing than what the rest of the backfield is. And you could say the same of Rashard Smith to a degree. But there's two pieces in front of him, and right now there's only one in front of Jaydon Blue. I'm going to go with Jaydon Blue. Just I think that his odds are better, more draft capital. That would be me. Half-point PPR start 2. Worthy, he has Kelsey, Mo Diesel, Rachaad White, Waddle, A.J. Brown, also bench 1. Zay, Pittman, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Rachaad White. I'm going to start White and Waddle. Sorry, A.J. Brown. Don't see the passing volume there. We can have that discussion about A.J. Brown. Maybe the squeaky wheel gets greased this week, or maybe the Philadelphia Eagles just keep running the damn football because that's what they want to do. I would like more information on this. Also, bench 1. Zay, Pittman, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rachaad White. Not Rachaad White. Marvin Harrison Jr. has a great matchup. Pittman has been super on point. I'm probably going Zay Flowers, but only because he doesn't have his usual quarterback, and he tends to be up and down within weeks to week. Strange, Kelsey, or Dart. Strange for me. CJ. Oh, I see. It's 2 different questions. There's a period. Help me out, Mo. Write good questions. Strange or Kelsey? I play Strange over Kelsey this week. CJ or Dart? I would play Dart, but it's a great matchup for CJ. And I'm only playing Dart because, go read my in and out column, you'll find out why. But mostly it's the matchup's great, but the rushing equity's there. I don't know if CJ Stroud has much rushing equity. If there's ever a matchup that he should be able to take advantage of, so this is it. So if you have a gut feeling, and by the way, they're ranked, I want to say the ranking is fairly wide on them. My ranking is wide on them. Let me see what the projections are. CJ Stroud is 12. Yeah, it's like 13 and 14 on the projections. I'm a little higher on Dart. I think he has like tail end quarterback 1 upside. They are projected within 0.3 of a point of each other. Dart over Stroud. That is the projection. And that confirms how I'm going, although I am more bullish on Dart than that projection. Like, if you wanted to make the argument, if this is the week I wanted to play CJ Stroud, I would not talk you out of that argument. I can't trade Pollard and 2 for 1 offers. If I can't trade Pollard and 2 for 1 offers to get rid of him, drop for beat. No, don't drop a starting running back for Rashard Smith. I'm not. Question: confused by the Sean Tucker hesitancy. Not giving Sean Tucker hesitancy. He's like a tail end. I'm not sure what. I don't understand the question. Why is there hesitancy? Because I like other players better. All right. There is no hesitancy. I keep talking about the upside that he has. He had 136 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Saints last year. Maybe he does that again. By the way, I hope Skip Peete is good. One of my great high school rivals, Skip Peete, Saguaro Cougars quarterback, following in the footsteps of his brother, the great Rodney Peete. They were very hard to beat, and it was a huge rivalry. So wishing Skip Peete all the best. But not sure that's why he signed himself out of the hospital, is Sean Tucker. But anyway, yeah, Sean Tucker might be good. So might Carter. So, I mean, it's like, do you not think Rachaad White is going to be the primary guy? Maybe he won't be, but I mean, logically, I don't know about the hesitancy. It's an irritating question. I have trouble with mind. Sorry. If anyone's seen, I have not seen his, I'll have to look at that. What do you like between Sean Tucker and Pacheco? I would like Sean Tucker there. I haven't seen anything from Pacheco. I would take the optimism of the unknown there. See, there's your hesitancy, sir. Just kidding, man. It's all good. Ertz or Juwan Johnson in a full point PPR. I like Ertz a little more with the Jaden Daniels back and with limited targets elsewhere. It's probably a good idea. And Juwan Johnson not fully healthy. I would play Juwan Johnson if he's healthy and there is no Taysom Hill and no Foster Moreau. Ceiling play for a troubled mind. I think For me, it'll be Dowdle, just based on the anticipated workload and the matchups. But you would like me to remind you that we had a running back 1 overall week 6 last year from Sean Tucker, and it is true. So maybe he's the upside play. PPR, Hawkinson, Fannin, Schultz. All right, Patty B, I'm probably going to unenthusiastically play Schultz in this one. I don't feel great about it. Don't feel great about Hawkinson. Don't feel great about the Vikings' offense this week with all those linemen hurt. 1987 Jerry Rice or 2004 Peyton Manning. I'm always going to go with the skill player over the quarterback, young Kubiak. That'll be the 1987 Jerry Rice. Ugliest start sit ever. Is it, though? Is it? I think Trevor Etienne is probably the easy call for me. But it's pretty ugly. All right, this is going to be controversial. I love Joey Belladonna, but man, John Bush is a better singer. He just is. He just is. I heard John Bush was going out on the tour and he was doing just all his Anthrax stuff, and that Scott Ian maybe reached out to see if he could join him on it. Wouldn't that be cool? I get it. So here's where we'll agree. I do get the enthusiasm over Woody Marks, and I think it's happening. But like I said before, I would be way more I'm more enthusiastic this week than I normally would be because Baltimore is just a mess on defense. 7 guys injured. They're giving up all the points in the world. Texans offensive line is not good. All these things are true. And honestly, we're thinking and just like we're projecting, I think Rachaad White is going to be the lead back because he's been the piece ahead of Sean Tucker. Maybe they see it differently going into this game. Maybe we're going to all be shocked that this is the big, Sean Tucker is going to jump ahead of him. But honestly, we don't know that Woody Marks has jumped ahead of Chubb, but we saw the workload. So I agree with all that 100%. I think we're playing the matchup of what we saw last week, and people are eagerly doing that. Hello, sir. 1/2 PPR. Start 2. 2 wide receivers. Sutton, BTJ, Slayton, Godwin, also Dax or Dart. I'm probably playing Dak over Dart in this one. Sutton and Godwin. Thank you, Royal Slate. Oh, no. I don't know that there was any hesitancy. I don't think I'm ignoring any of that. So one difference though in White is we've seen him be the every down back. I mentioned 2023. It was like we're running back 4 overall. I got all the touches, right? And he was heading into that role. I think that's why they drafted, from what I understand, from my great rival Skip Pete, was Bucky Irving was basically drafted to tell Rachaad White to hit the hole harder. Rachaad White did not hit the hole harder. And Bucky Irving eventually took over. And it was a little bit of a slow burn even at that. So, I think we have a larger body of evidence to hang our hat on that they're into Rachaad White more so than Sean Tucker. But obviously, Sean Tucker has shown he can be a great thing. And Carter, we have Carter and DeMarcado, we have an even more limited band. But we have seen Carter the last 2 games of last year get a full workload without DeMarcado, without Benson, and so no, it's all the speculacy. I guess I was bothered by the hesitancy. I'm open to everything here. A troubled mind. I'm not closed-minded to any of this. Let's see. I needed 2. So Mason with Krosky, Merritt, Washington, or Pacheco. So Mason with yes, I'd probably go Krosky, Merritt over Pacheco. Sorry about that. I'm not in on Pacheco. Like the touchdown catch last week. I'm playing Kenneth Walker over Rashard. I think I go against the projections though. Let me just double check if I recall correctly. I think the projections might Rashad White slightly more. And they do. The projections are 16 and 18, running back 16 and 18, with about a point of difference. What's Adam Schefter talking about? Hold on. Nothing of interest. Talking about uniforms. Thank you, Adam Schefter. That's not the conversation I was here for. We still got plenty of time to get through questions. I will be doing that now. So that, I like Walker because I like Walker in general just a little more than the world. So it's that close, though. Or Walker. Is this Kenneth Walker? Am I missing something? Is there a Walker I don't know about? This is why first names help. This seems like, how is this even a question? So it makes me think I'm missing something, because I would 100% start Kenneth Walker over both of those guys together. Lost Tyreek and needed wide receivers. I just traded down to get Wandale and Corey Krusky-Merritt for Olave and Devontae Smith. Wide receivers are now DK, Devontae, Olave, McLaurin, Hunter. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. I think that's probably a decent wide receivers. Your running back, CMC, Barkley, Warren. Yeah, you're fine. You're just CMC and Barkley. You're going to be great. Warren will be fine. Yeah, you're great. That's all good. I like Olave too, but can I start him over either Keenan Allen or Jamar Chase or George Pickens? I don't know that you can. Again, Pickens is facing one of the toughest matchups in football, assuming he's going to get the shadow coverage from Sauce Gardner. So let me see what the projections say on this. Our projections are unworried by this. Totally unworried by this. Pickens is projected as wide receiver 5. So yes. I don't have him quite that high. And Scampers and I, as always, in full agreement. Maybe May over Hurts and May over Hurts. Well, I think that would be demonstrating great intestinal fortitude. I don't know that it's not crazy. They're both in our top 10 this week. Hurts doesn't throw the ball a lot, but he gets it done on the run. And he has been every week. I get it. So Drake May's been very good. I'd probably still play Hurts, but it's not Bob Hope, a hopeless situation. And Myers, Sutton, Ibuka, pick one. I'm going to pick Ibuka. I did not see this. I need to go look. I have not seen this. David Montgomery. Go read my in and out column, people, this week and see why I'm in this week on David Montgomery, at least to beat his projection. Fields or Baker. Fields all day long going against the Dallas Cowboys. It seems like an oversimplification, Andrea, but it is not. Every quarterback who's played Dallas has scored 24 plus points, some even more. And Fields just scored 27 points last week. That makes more sense. Splashy. That makes more sense. I'm going to come back to this. But yes, this is why he's the in on my in and out. But not because of I didn't even know about the narrative. I liked other things about it, but now I'm even happier. All right. This seems like a way spicy plays. This is obviously your flex. You can do whatever the heck you want. Might depend on the rest of my roster. Darren Waller is a tight end I'm in on this week, but it's only because his projection is tight end 18. I think he's going to beat that projection because it'll only take one touchdown for him to do it. I think Higgins or McCaffrey make more sense, logically speaking. But but Waller would be a fun play. So here's the theory, right? Mike McDaniel, last year, the offense was better demonstrably than it was this year. What was the missing piece? They don't have Jonnu Smith. He seemed to be a focal point of the offense. Mike McDaniel used him to create mismatches, leaned into him heavily. He turned Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle into second fiddles, right? Jonnu Smith with his speed and playmaking ability. Well, here comes Darren Waller, who does not have Jonnu Smith's speed, but he does have a lot of playmaking ability, and he's great in the red zone. I don't know. It's an appealing situation. I keep reminding myself, Darren Waller has not been good for many years. It's been 5 years since we saw a good Darren Waller. So I went and looked. When was the last time Darren Waller has had 2 good games in a row? It was 2023, about the middle of the season for the Giants. It was arguably good games in a row. So I think we're taking a chance, but I do like that. I'm sorry. I like that. Need to upgrade, and I like just the fact that you're thinking about it. Like, if you want to swing for the fence play, it's Waller. If you just want to, like, click the boxes, it's Higgins and McCaffrey in that order. Need to upgrade a wide receiver, says Trone Force. Would you trade Barkley and McLaurin for James, Cook, and Rashee Rice or London? I would. Yes. James Cook's the real deal, people. I've had a blind spot for a couple of years. I no longer have a blind spot. Talked to Michael Florio from NFL Network. I heard him say something on TV, so I reached out to him. I said, man, that's a good point. He is convinced that James Cook is, like, on TV, he said he was top 7. When we talked, he's going to say, no, I was wrong. He's top 5. I don't know that he's wrong about that. I think James Cook's in a good spot, getting tons of volume, doing great things, taking great plays. Like, would I rather have Barkley? Yes. But with that trade, I'd rather have the upgrade of either guy at wide receiver, even the anticipated upgrade of Rashee Rice. I'm playing Rachaad White over Marks at the moment. I've done nothing to say a sorry Joe today. I'm trying to behave. My league is PPR and given points on all return yards. I'll go Luke McCaffrey in this one. Although Tolbert, there's no Kevontae Turpin this week. Is Luke still returning? I think that's the question. Now that he has a bigger role in the offense. And with Tolbert. I just want to double check on that because it is a fair question. Bear with me. We'll just take a second to see how stupid we are or not. I'd always like to not be as stupid as I possibly can be. Yeah, McCaffrey's still returning. Jalen Lane's returning punts. McCaffrey returning kickoffs. He had 6 kickoffs. Yeah, a lot of kickoffs last week. Had like 100. Yeah, I'm playing McCaffrey. Oh no! When do we play? What league? What was the league in that you just beat me, Dame? Did you just beat me in a league? There's no training here. Only discussions, friendly discussions between friends. I'm going to flex Rachaad White this week based on my anticipated workload, but a troubled mind is right. There is such a Deshaun Tucker, and Pittman has been good. How good has Pittman been? He has 15 or more fantasy points in 3 or 4 games this season. He's averaging 7 targets a game. He and Tyler Warren have been very good. Correct. I would start Dart over Bryce. Thank you, Dominic. It's nice seeing you. Play Josh Allen or Fields. Can Fields be better this week? Yes, he can. Like, everyone's been better against Dallas. Jordan Love was the quarterback too against Dallas. So, yes, he can be. He had 27 points last week. Is that not more than Josh Allen? No, Josh Allen was very good last week too, wasn't he? I need to look before I, again, say something super stupid. Although it's my lane. The stupid stuff. What did we have last week? I want to say Fields was quarterback. Jordan Love was quarterback 2. Dak was quarterback 1. Matthew Stafford was 3. Patrick Mahomes. Justin Fields was 5. Josh Allen was 7. So, yes, totally within the range of possible outcomes any given week, given his rushing equity. I agree with that. All right, we've got 5 more minutes or so here. I'll get to whatever I can here. I'll just see some of your comments. I enjoy this part of it. This is my favorite part, where we're not sitting here asking questions. We can discuss things. Better than Hubbard has been this year. Over Dobbins? Yes, I think over Dobbins this week, given the matchup. Biggest wild card plays every week. Every week, though, Mr. Scampers. It's just going to depend on the volume. But I do agree. At some point, the squeaky wheel's got to get greased. Is it this week? I mean, I know what the Eagles want to do because they've been telling us now for 2 years, a year and a half, exactly what they want to do. 2 years. If you go back to all the money they gave Saquon Barkley, they told us then what they wanted to do. We've got this great offensive line. We're going to get the best running back in football, or one of them, and we're going to pound the ball and we're going to beat the pants off people playing good defense with Vic Fangio keeping the other team in check. I would start Sutton, Pittman, or Monty over AJ Brown this week, and I would go Cougars. Sapporo Cougar fans in the audience. I would say this: that, like, I'm not telling anyone not to start AJ Brown. I'm just saying what I would do right now. It's just a hard play right now. He's not getting the, even when he got the volume last week, he turned it into what? 1.9 points. I mean, he's still a startable player. I just like those other guys better. I do. Until we see signs of a shift. Hello, BC Beasley. Thank you for coming. My advice to Bob Harris. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You never know. Yeah. We had this discussion. And it's all good. We have, get these discussions. I might take offense at one word or something and read something the wrong way. They're comments. I can't judge your tone or anything. So if I take it wrong, I don't mean to take it wrong. Start JCM or Godwin at the flex. I would probably start Godwin, but JCM's in the conversation this week. The hunch is. Yes, they were shutting out the woeful Titans. This is 100% true. They might do the same to the woeful Ravens. I think that's one of the things about this week for Marks that makes him more appealing. I am still worried about Nick Chubb being there. I talked to John McClain last week, and he thought Marks was coming on, but he also said, he was the one who said to me, he said, Chubb's not going away. They're still going to use him. Genty at Indy or Debo at Chargers. Genty, even without Colton Miller. Already started Devontae Adams. Wide receiver 1 got Jonathan Taylor as running back 1. You're doing good, Juan Pena Jr. Wide receiver 2 playing flex spot. Josh Jacobs on a bye. A running back, Nick Chubb, Trevion Henderson, Zach Charbonnet, Krosky Merritt. Wide receivers, Addison, Hollywood, Quentin Johnston, Debo. Quentin and Debo. Krosky Merritt, Charbonnet, and Henderson. Hey. Who would you drop to get Brenton Strange or Jake Tongas? I got Javon Johnson. Kittle is also on IR. Also is Hollywood, Nick Chubb, Krosky Merritt, Kenneth Gainwell droppable. No. You don't have a second defense, Juan? I would rather have Brenton Strange than Jake Tongas. At some point, Tongas has a shelf life. Brenton Strange doesn't. Also, Strange is in our top 10 at the position this week. So, I don't want to drop anybody, right? Like, that's part of the problem. I might play this out and see what Juwan Johnson does. Wait till later this afternoon, at least for this week, to see. And Kyle Shanahan said last week that Kittle might not be back until week 7. So still a shelf life though, right? Like, I guess it would be Hollywood probably for me. I mean, I don't want to drop running backs that might get touches, and I can probably find another Hollywood Brown out there on the waiver wire. Yes, sir. That's 100% fine. 100% fine. I probably just read one word and didn't like it but all good. Would you trade Quentin Johnston for Travis Etienne? Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's sad. Young man, 39 years old. Redraft, have a deep wide receiver. Look, I got a couple minutes left here. Let's see what I can do. Trade St. Brown for Barkley or Achane. Should I pull the trigger? Yes. I would do that if you have a deep wide receiver group. That would be the level of return I would want for that. Second league for how are you not playing Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson, top 10 wide receiver. I would probably play Harrison over A.J. Brown in the next group. I need one. Nick Chubb, Michael Carter, Hollywood Brown, or Trey Tucker. Michael Carter. It's a bit of a guess. Trade Tet and Scanabu for JSN. I mean, you have the firepower to do it. Trade Tet and Scanabu. You're giving up a lot, but JSN's top 10 receiver. I would probably do that. Need a wide receiver upgrade. Would you trade Barkley and McLaurin for James Cook and Rashee Rice? We did this one, Trump. I think we're 5 years in. We should be getting more from Trevor Lawrence. Scott Barrett had a great tweet out a week or so ago about how he's so dialed in on his first reads that it's been a problem for him, and apparently opposing defenses have figured it out. They need more out of him. Would be like just like the early evaluation is that he is not delivering as expected. I guess that's the question, right? Is like, do we give him a pass because he did the Myers and then went through another coaching staff that it wasn't on point? I don't know. I don't know if I give him. I don't know how many passes you get. It's been 5 years. Got to get better. Top 5, Andrea knows. %, man. This is the design. I've talked about it here in many chats in recent weeks, is that Joe Brady wants these guys, wants Josh Allen to spread the ball around, and is making great, and it's working out great for James Cook. All right, I'm out of time. Let me see if I can get one more. Okay, I already did that one. Ertz over Andrews. I would think about dropping Andrews for Blue if I really wanted Blue, but I would have to have the ability to, I think you could stream tight ends right now. You did. I knew you did. Damn it. Congratulations. Monty to the moon. We're on the same page on this one. Correct. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Again, I'm Bob Harris. Thanks for coming here every Saturday at noon. You can hear me tonight. If I didn't get to your question, call the radio show, Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio and NFL Radio, 8 p.m. It's the Football Die Hard Show. Mike Dempsey, myself, Casey Joyner will be coming on, the football scientist, Jamie Calandro. 3 hours. We take a lot of calls during that show. Also take a lot of calls during the week on the regular Football Die Hard Show, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow you can catch me on the pregame show. We might take 3 or 4 calls. And they'll be really fast and too fast. Also, catch my work at footballguys.com. The fantasy notebook out every Thursday. The face off with Gary Davenport every Friday. My in and out column up now. Check it out. I do all kinds of crazy things that make me totally uncomfortable and should probably make you uncomfortable. But still, there's a little logic to them. So enjoy all that, people, and have a great week 5. And we'll see you next week for another live stream. Ask Me Anything style. Goodbye.